Next news. Breaking news.
President Trump just dropped a bombshell that has the entire Western Hemisphere on notice. Cuba, the communist stronghold 90 miles off our coast that has defied 11 American presidents, is about to fall. And folks, Trump isn't just talking about it. He's already got Secretary of State Marco Rubio working on the deal at the highest levels. The Cuban regime is broke. They're starving. Their power grid just collapsed, and now they're coming to us begging for help. After 65 years of communist tyranny, after the Bay of Pigs, after the Cuban Missile Crisis, after generations of oppression, is America about to witness the friendly takeover of Cuba? This could be the biggest geopolitical victory since the fall of the Berlin Wall. Now think about what this means for you and your family, for the future of freedom in this hemisphere. For decades, we've had a hostile communist regime sitting 90 miles from Florida, propped up by our enemies, sending refugees flooding to our shores, exporting revolution throughout Latin America. Cuban Americans, millions of them, have been waiting their entire lives to see their homeland freed. Many fled Castro's brutality with nothing but the clothes on their backs, built new lives here in America, and have prayed for this moment. Now, if Cuba falls, it's not just about one island, it's about sending a message to every tin pot dictator, every communist regime, every enemy of freedom. Your days are numbered when Trump is in charge. Venezuela's collapsing, Iran is feeling the heat, and now Cuba is next. This is the Trump doctrine in action. Peace through strength, and it's working. The domino effect is real. Authoritarianism is crumbling everywhere. Trump turns his attention. And speaking of national security, there's a critical story that's developing right now that ties directly into everything that we are covering here at the Next News Network. We're tracking a developing story out of Washington, one the legacy media does not want you to see. As Iran destabilizes the Middle East and Cuba teeters on collapse, the federal government just made a move that could reshape America's security posture forever. And here's the truth. Our nuclear subs, our warheads, our next generation power grid, all of it depends on uranium, and we import almost every single pound of it. This is not about energy independence. This is about survival. Because a nation that can't power its own military doesn't stay a superpower for long. That's why smart investors are looking at atomic minerals, trading as ATMMF in Canada and ATMMF in the United States and ATOM in Canada. When national security becomes the headline, domestic uranium becomes the lifeline. Now, do your own research. There is an exclusive briefing that has been prepared just for Next News viewers. You'll find it below this video, but don't sleep on this one. Now, let me tell you what else Donald Trump has revealed that the mainstream media is desperately trying to bury. Yes, it's incredible. While the fake news tries to spin this as warmongering, Trump made crystal clear it's about a friendly takeover. The Cuban government came to us. They're talking to the Trump administration because they have no money. They have no oil, no food, nothing left. And in Miami right now, massive caravans of Cuban Americans are rallying in support of Trump to finally liberate their homeland from communist tyranny. I'm going to show you exactly what Trump said and what's happening on the ground right now. Now, this was just a few days ago when the word friendly takeover entered the lexicon.
The Cuban government is talking with us. They're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money. They have no anything right now. But they're talking with us. And maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba.
What about the post?
After many, many years, we've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba that live here. You know, we have people living here that want to go back to Cuba, and they're very happy with what's going on.
Very happy. The initial bombshell about a friendly takeover immediately sparking controversy with critics pushing back hard. Trump says now, this is just in, that America will go to war with Cuba next after the Iran war is finished.
And your next one is going to be, we want to do that special
Cuba, he's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country.
Got to finish Iran first, but there is conflicting information about whether this is diplomacy or war. So let's get the official word from One American News on what's actually happening. President Trump says the communist regime is on the brink of collapse, claiming the country wants to make a deal, adding Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be sent to negotiate amid crippling humanitarian crisis and recent massive blackouts.
President Trump suggests the collapse of Cuba's communist regime is imminent. President Trump told CNN's Dana Bash this morning Cuba is going to fall pretty soon, and they want to make a deal badly. The president said he's going to send Secretary of State Marco Rubio over to the island nation to try and negotiate with its leadership. Trump's remarks come as Rubio's team reportedly met with the grandson of former Cuban leader Raul Castro last month. The Caribbean country is dealing with a crippling humanitarian crisis, including a recent mass blackout, which took out power to 2/3 of the nation.
So there's One American News confirming about the negotiations that are underway. Now we're getting more details about the timeline and Trump's broader regional strategy involving Iran. OANN defender President Trump has told CNN that Cuba is going to fall, adding he's putting Secretary of State Marco Rubio over there. But now the administration is focused on operation against Iran. The Iran connection is key. Trump is essentially announcing a domino effect across multiple regimes, with Cuba being next in line. Here is the moment that they're referencing with respect to Dana Bash and the president in their discussion.
He's using it in his second. And then he quickly turned to Cuba. He said, without being asked, Cuba is going to fall pretty soon, by the way, but Cuba is going to fall. They want to make a deal so badly. And I asked, how so? He said, they want to make a deal, so I'm going to put Marco over there, and we'll see how that works. But we're really focused on this one now, meaning Iran. We've got plenty of time on Cuba. Just more quickly.
So that was the conversation that Dana Bash had with the president. It's not just presidential rhetoric. Trump is putting his money where his mouth is, deploying his top expert to handle negotiations. Trump announcing Cuba is going to fall amid Venezuela and Iran operations. They need help. We're talking to Cuba. That's what he told Politico. Previously confirmed Secretary Rubio is dealing with Cuba at a very high level. And the Cuban-American community isn't waiting around. They're taking to the streets to show Trump that they are ready for action. Caravans now flooding the streets. So clearly we can see that the action is heating up all over the world. And here's what the establishment media doesn't want you to understand. This isn't just about Cuba. This is about finishing what Reagan started. The communist dominoes are falling, and Donald Trump is pushing them over one by one. Venezuela, Iran, and now Cuba. The axis of evil in our own backyard is collapsing under the weight of Trump's maximum pressure campaign. Marco Rubio, a son of Cuban immigrants who fled communist oppression, is now positioned to negotiate the liberation of his ancestral homeland. You cannot write a more poetic ending to 65 years of tyranny. Trump said it himself. Bad things happen when you move too fast. But Cuba's time is coming. The regime knows it. The Cuban people know it. And now the entire world knows it. So, folks, we are witnessing history in the making yet again. President Trump is systematically dismantling the enemies of freedom in Cuba, the last communist holdout in the Western Hemisphere. They're on deck. And this is what America First foreign policy looks like. Not endless wars, but strategic pressure that brings tyrants to their knees and forces them to come to us for a deal. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you believe Cuba will finally be free under President Trump? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments below and let's get the conversation going. And make sure you are subscribed and you hit the notification bell because this story is developing fast and you do not want to miss a single update. And show your support for independent conservative media by checking out the Next News merch shelf below this video. And share this video with every freedom-loving American you know. I'm Gary Franchi for the Next News Network. Stay informed and stay free.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.